Okay, I'm just cleaning up these single port heads which are going on the engine. I decided to go the single port route because it's just going to be easier, and I don't really want bigger carbs on it. I don't need to mess about with having to jet them and stuff like that. Once they're right, they're lovely, but they can be a pain. I was very lucky with the last set on the twin carbs I had that they were jetted pretty sweet and they ran pretty sweet. I only had to change the idle jet. So these are the heads. They're not half bad. I've gave all the I'll show you. So I've gave the sort of heads a bit of a clean up with one of these wire wheels. This one has got a bit of corrosion where the barrel seat's on, but there's a little bit, there's probably a few mil of actual seating surface. It wasn't blown before. It's a bit of a gamble, but once the heads are lapped in, I can't see that being a problem. I've put them together, I've had to put them together like that before when I haven't had any other heads, and they've been fine. So basically just clean the heads out. So I've just been doing a little bit of porting on them. You can't do much because single port is just, you know, there's obviously you've got the ring, but I'll give you a sort of idea of how much you can take off. So you can see where the ring, sorry, this one's not cleaned up yet, but if you look at that angle there, and then you look at that angle there, so you can see from sort of that angle there's quite a bit of meat I can take off. And basically just do that with one of these burrs. I'll try. Where's my phone gone? Yeah, just that burr there like that. They're not that expensive and they just clean it up, so you know, I can't gas flow them or anything silly like that. I'm not bothering doing the exhaust ports much because there's not much to take off, but you can go around the exhaust ports and make sure you get all the roughness off and well, not roughness, all the carbon off and stuff, but you can do them a fair bit, so you can, you know, and that just means that basically what you're looking at is any corners you can take off. You can't get right inside, but any corners you can take off, you take off. Well, I'm no expert, but that's what I did on my last one. You can see in here, yeah, so you can see that corner there, that sort of area there. You've got to be careful, you don't want to take too much under the valve seat because you'll weaken it, but kind of that bit there, you can see I've kind of smoothed that out a bit. That was quite a corner, sort of this bit there on that corner just below the valve seat, kind of smooth that round so it's a bit more of a flow. Whereas on an original one, I'll try if I can see, I'll show you on the original one. No, I can't really show it here. That sort of corner is actually a corner, and you can just round the corners off a little bit. Just helps it, you know. Never bothered doing it much before on other engines, but the last engine I had was a twin port, and a standard twin port head you can really take a load off. I basically almost, where you can see that sort of gasket line, that ring, I sort of drawn around that with a marker pen, so a few mil thick marker pen, big marker pen, and I took it all off and all the way as far in as I could. And with the twin port heads, where the join is between the twin port, you can open them up quite a lot and get rid of all the corners. And I did that quite a lot on both heads. I only did it by eye, but sort of, you know, you can sort of see comparing the two heads how much you're taking off. And I did that on, that was a 1641, yeah, 1641 with twin ICTs on. And I ported that, and it absolutely flew. It really absolutely motored, and I've driven plenty of twin carb engines, even 1776, and it actually felt quicker than a lot of the 1776s I've driven. And it really had real good guts. You know, you sort of woof your foot down even in a high gear and it would pull. You know, it's pull a lot lower. It seemed to pull a lot better. So I think it's when it was absolutely brilliant on fuel as well. Loads better on fuel. Actually better on fuel with the twin carbs than it was as a standard format, just as a single port. So I think freeing up a little bit flow in the heads, even if you only do it a little bit, you know, people could argue, yeah, the experts say, yeah, you created a bit of imbalance and whatever, but yeah, how balanced are these engines? The original castings on the heads, especially some of the new stuff you get, the castings are pretty, the corners aren't, you know, the castings are quite rough, the corners in the ports. So yeah, I've just been doing that. I've just got to give them a wash off now. I've cleaned all the valves up. Can't see any obvious cracks in them. I've got a set of valve guides ordered, even though it's only really the exhaust guides. I'll see what my machining guy says. If he says you know, just leave the inlet, I will. But I've got a set of 8 guides coming. These are 8mm guides for this. And I'm going to get them to recut the seats, recut the valves, and put the guides in. I have put guides in myself before. Just need to make a tool to sort of knock them out. I made it out of an old punch and warm up the head and knock them out and knock the new ones in. But like I said before, the thing with that is there's no guarantee that guide is going to be in exactly the same place in relation to the valve seat. So if you do that, you'd end up with a valve sort of not sitting right on there. That's why when you put guides in, you normally recut the seats, because you know, they do it all in one go. Well, not in one go, but they use the new guide as a guide to cut the seat, so they know it's all parallel and true, and it gives you a good seating surface. I put fluid in these. What I tend to do with these, before I cleaned them up, I put fluid in them, and 3 of them did empty. But I think that's partly because it's been left and had a bit of water in the bores, and the valves had gone a bit of rust on the valves, so they weren't properly closed. Some of the valves were open, obviously, when I took them off the engine, but obviously when it's off the engine, all the valves close, but there was crap in there. So, but there's no obvious cracks or anything like that, and actually all the studs look okay. So do a bit of porting on this one, try and get it same as that one. Then it's a case of wash them off and get them to the machining shop, which is ever so good guy, called Bates' Engineering, Westdale Lane in Nottingham. He's been doing it a long time, very good. Did the Porsche heads, no problem with that. He did the Porsche heads, does a lot of, you know, most people around, I know he does their engines and stuff, very good. He's very good. Yeah, so I'm going to get that done. So while I'm waiting for him to do the heads, because, you know, he doesn't do them straight away, I can have to wait sometimes. Then I can put the flywheel on the engine, oil pump, oil cooler, sump plate, conrods, pistons as well, to be fair. Obviously, I don't normally put the barrels on until I've got the heads ready, because what I tend to do is put a bit of seal around the base of the barrel as well as the gasket, and then when I tighten the head up, I put the barrels on, then I tighten the head up not long at, you know, straight away, and it just, you get a better seal, because you put them engines together with just the paper gasket onto the where the head goes on to, where the barrel goes onto the block, and they always leak. It's not surprising really. You can imagine the maybe not with a brand new case and brand new barrels, but even then, eventually the new gaskets, paper gaskets you get, aren't up to much. So I normally put a beader sealer on the cylinder, then the gasket, then another beader sealer, and then tighten it all up with the heads and the pushrod tubes, and it oozes out a bit, but I've never ever had one leak. Another thing you do need to do, I mean, I'll show this when I put it together, is not these head bolts, but these ones. You need to put some sealer around them, put the washer on, then a bit of sealer, then the nut on all of these 4, because when you think about it, there's oil slapping around here, and if the washer's not sitting, you know, if there's a bit of a lump on the washer or the head, it goes down the thread, down the stud, and lo and behold, it drops down onto the pushrod tubes, and you think you've got a pushrod tube leak, when actually, if you look at it, you'll see that you look at the stud and you can see the stud's damp, which is higher than the pushrod tube. I've seen that quite a lot. Most of the recon places, that's what they do. You know, I don't know whether they did originally. They probably didn't originally, but it probably didn't need to because everything's brand new and, you know. So yeah, bit of porting, bit of cleaning up. And then we'll take it from there. And then hopefully it'll run on a stand at the end of the videos. We'll get it running on a stand. And I'll probably do a video of it driving and running in the car as well. Do a bit of a 0 to 60 test, which would be a laugh, won't it? Yet to do that on the Porsche, but it's time and weather, and you know, when it's a bit lighter in the evenings, I might have a go, see if I can do a 0 to 60, because they say sort of, I think some are 6 and some are 7, aren't they? Something like that. It don't feel bad. I would imagine it'll be 6 or 7. You know, be less than 7. I would imagine. I don't know if I'd do it in 6. I think that's more the GTS one. If you're enjoying the videos, subscribe. Give me some likes. Oh, while I'm on, yeah, I do the valves with me bench grinder. Just do it with your hand with a bench grinder. Clean them up. What I also do with the valves as well is sit them in the vise with the vise nearly closed and just roll them round and just make sure that the ends of the valves are true. Because sometimes you get a valve that's slightly bent, or you get an end of a valve that's mushroomed a little bit. And if you spin it round sort of in a straight surface, you can see it woggling, or if there's a bit of a distortion in it, but they all look okay. There's a little bit of rust on, and there's a little bit of sink, you know, mark where they've been on the valve seats, bit of recession, but I think if he grinds them all up, which he intends to do, does the seats and the valves, they'll go again. I'd rather use them, to be honest, original valves with VW on than new valves, to be honest. I think the material they're made out of probably better. You know, people say different things. One thing also as well, when you're putting new parts on, anything like the crank, barrels and pistons, rods, anything like that, give them a right good wash in a parts washer, then a bit of brake cleaner to clean them off. You'll be amazed. I never always used to do that. I watched a video of a guy, I can't remember the name, but a good engine builder, building an air-cooled engine, and the guy bought him all the new parts, and he basically put all the, he says, oh, we've got to wash them, and he says, well, they're new, they're brand new. He said, no, watch this, and he washed them in this like bucket, left them to soak and give them a good rinse out. Then he took them out, and then he drained the bucket, and the amount of metally kind of not filings, but kind of sandy dust, kind of metally dust that was on these new parts was crazy. And I suppose it makes sense, because you know, they machine them, give them a quick wash off, and then they give them a coat of oil just to protect them, but that's about it. It's not really, you know, they're not bothered, they're not putting them on, so that's something that's worth noting. Okay, it's time for tea. I'll see you next time.